Sorry again, guys, to interrupt. The house robots are feeding back. There's some real rich conversations going on, which is what we really care about, more so than the game. But it's so cool to see. So if you put your table name and your suggestion of how we kind of attack this as a coach or a teacher, and then we'll discuss what comes in as it comes in.
Yeah, some really good stuff. Really good to see like lots of active listening there. People being really receptive. Lots of people trying to think of inclusion as well, which is really good. That's really positive. I only asked one table specifically about the power up, so I won't jump on that. But I'm intrigued to see how people use those.
Just as the answers are coming in for this round, we'll just recap on the last round. Rach noticed some real inclusive, positive chats on table 12. So you guys have got a booster, which we'll let you know again at the end. Same for table 3. Fletcher's noticed a lot of support.
Mo.
Rusty's table 10, high energy. We're giving a booster out for table 10.
Do we take points off Mo for just coming at the random superpowers? Only kidding, Mo.
I guess it'd be great if you guys could pick your 4 favourites here. Just one each. If you guys want to join us, we'll pick a favourite each. Dan, what are you thinking from what's coming in? Any standing out to you?
The ones I jumped in on, there were some cracking ideas of different use of width and space on the pitch to vary, to try and think of how they would maximise the space. I just like the fact that people are really thinking about the concept. Danny, this would be probably, with a ball and multi-directional, probably a bit more your way. I mean, I think Rachel probably yell at Colin if we started kicking backwards. So I've seen some of our kickers, so it can happen.
Yeah, you can overload it. I think Greg's one with table 10 around multiple scoring zones around the pitch. So that recognition of which one's the best one to attack and where's the spaces, I think works pretty well. I guess I'd always ask, what's the barrier to people recognizing and playing to space? And therefore, how could we either exaggerate around that or remove it? So the use of pauses, I think, is a really interesting one for that. Also, how do we direct their attention away from the ball, which is why we get players swamping to the ball quite a lot, because they're not attracted to the space. So how do we make the space more attractive would be a question I'd ask as well. There's some cool answers in here as well. I like Mo's answer with teleporting superpowers as well.
Yeah.
That's got to be worth a point.
For randomness.
Yeah.
The point scoring has become very subjective. So whatever you think, guys. I'm giving table 10. There was some interesting reflection on 10 there from Danny. So they get the torso there. Anything else? Any other table you've noticed, guys? If we pick one each.
I'm going, although it's interesting, I was just telling the story of I mentor a hockey coach, and they've got a pitch that's about a quarter of a size pitch, and they train on it, and they'd never seen a full size pitch, the players. So when they rocked up to play a game, they were like, which quarter are we using? We're using the whole pitch. So space and numbers is, so I'm going table 1. I like the invincibility. Actually having lanes on the edges might mean that there's less collisions with walls. I think it's really actually a really good practical example, quite frankly. And it also reminds me a bit of using different things. So I asked a player once, and Fletch, he's at Leicester, and I said, what's the best session you ever did? And he said, it was a session I did with John Fletcher where we used a beanie for a ball. If you've got a small space, then use something they can't pass very far. He said it was awesome, loads of short passing and support. And so anyway, table 1 in the long-winded way. 1,000,000 points. 1,000,000 points to table 1.
And they've used the gamification principle there with invincibility. Really cool. Dan, you're unmuted. Who are you going for? Are you putting your money behind?
I like table 9. I thought some good stuff in there. And also the attempt in there to support those lower ability. You tend to find that really football in particular, maybe Danny in hockey as well, that it's that initial trap and hold of the ball that slows down the whole game itself. So if they've got a little bit more time suitable for them, that speeds the game up a little bit then. So probably I'm going to go table 9 because I think they've used their powers pretty well in that.
Rachel, you going for? Who are you liking?
I like them all. Like, there's some really good ideas in there as well. Like I think everyone's trying to out idea everyone, which is really cool to read along. But I quite like the ideas of the numbered bibs. I'm just thinking, like, it's just making me spin off on a tangent really, but just around that, like, double use of stuff for the netball bibs. You know, I think you could get really playful with the learning side of that as well. Even probably a bit of a technical element you could chuck into that. And obviously, if you wanted to do it from a teaching, I suppose there's a numeracy element that would come into that as well, which you could probably get a bit playful with.
I was just thinking that. What a great way to teach maths.
I mean, it sounds great. What table was it? Help me out.
I think table 4, not 3 in brackets. So
4, not 3.
Table 3.
Cool. Okay. Just moving this along because this is an interesting principle, and perhaps we could give a couple of practical examples of how it could be used afterwards. There was an imposter potentially at your table if people didn't move around too much. Their mission was to try and persuade you all on their table to not use one of those gamification principles. So come up with a solution that didn't use any of those 3 suggestions. So we're going to give you 2 minutes, Dan, till 9:05.
Yeah.
What a table number and a name. Actually, you can decide amongst yourselves if
well, the imposter gets to wiggle away out.
Yeah. So 2 minutes now to work out who the imposter is, and then just put your table in and whether you were successful or not, because frankly, I've forgotten where you're all sitting. So have a discussion, see if you can work it out, and then put your table number in the chat when we present again. And we're going to have a quick think about you guys, maybe some practical ways we could use an imposter in a session design. So 2 minutes.